Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here. I think it's amazing that you can still sit and listen and watch. It has been a long day. Okay, I try to be as quick as Laura, but let's see. As Arto said, I'm a sculptor and I'm also a visual art teacher and also researcher. I'm doing artistic research on artistic thinking, material thinking, cyclical thinking, thinking through action in art making. And I will show you a couple of examples and how my working is related to environmental art. So what I think of environmental art is not probably the mainstream thing, but I'm very interested in different environments. I think that art always happens in the environment, in some kind of environment. It doesn't have to be nature, or it doesn't have to be ecological thing or anything like that. It can be also a gallery environment. But I'm interested in the movement or how the environment affects on my art making. And here's some references. My art making is based on the Krause's sculpture in the expanded field. So, for example, I'm not following Bishop's pathway, but my working is based on sculpture. But I am doing also installations and environmental artworks, and depending on the environment I'm working in, the working changes. And here's one example. So, if I'm not following Claire Bishop, I'm more willingly going the same pathway with Morris and Crack. So these are my references to my articles. But sometimes my working can be also in the nature, more like natural environment. But I'm also interested in the final artwork, like from which angle you are looking at the artwork. And when you move to the other angle, it changes again. So this is one example of this kind of working. And my environmental thinking is based on Ossi Naukkarinen's The Art of Environment. And this is the one I'm going to use on the article that I'm writing now to the book of the symposium. So the movement. Sometimes the artists work very close to the evolving piece. And I have theorized it with Merleau-Ponty's chiasm. I don't go to the details, but I will just show how I do it. And I have applied it to the three-dimensional art making. I'm also using the feminist thought, new materialism, and then post-humanism in my theorization. And I have written quite many articles that you can see how I will work when I'm working close to the artwork. So then I'm meaning that I'm doing material working. I'm working with some material. I'm confronting the material. I'm very close to the artwork. But then sometimes I'm working very far away from the artwork. And I think this is as important part of the art practice as working close. And this is based on the Noel Carroll's notion of visual art practice as an established cultural practice. So why not manifests itself always in a dialogue with the pre-existing aesthetic judgments, as maybe Arto has said on the symposium program. And this is the base I'm writing from. I have already argued in my doctoral thesis that the material, spatial, and conceptual practice in question is working in motion, and now I'm developing it further. So I move both close to the work and I move far away, but then I can again move to the close. And the movement here, I think, is the most important thing if you are thinking about artistic thinking. So it's not linear. It's more like a cyclical process of making and thinking. As it has been said here today many times, that it's messy, it's chaotic, and so on. And then I ask at the same time that how this unnoticed traffic between materiality and conceptuality take in environmental art. And I'm also using Tere Vaden's notion of logical thinking and Tony Crack's notion of dialogical thinking with materials. And with this net, I am defining the artistic thinking, thinking with the material, the cyclical thinking, and so on. And I try to prove how a material and conceptual perspectives complement each other in the event of making environmental art. And then finally, one commercial of my other research project that I'm doing with an engineer. And this goes very close to the Lones and Folks project. And if you are interested in it, maybe we can talk about it later then. Okay, how many minutes? Okay, good. Thank you very much.